Science is involved with this prize because science really values the young researchers, and along with SciLifeLab, we just really want to provide this opportunity to really highlight some of the most exciting research coming from this group of people.
The winners this year were particularly impressive, I think, in the diversity of life science that they cover. We had a very broad reach of breakthroughs. We had breakthroughs in core molecular understanding of life. How do bacteria fight against viruses? But then also much more applied breakthroughs, where in medicine we've seen that understanding lipid metabolism can be key to understand neurological disease. And in ecology, that we can start to model and simulate quantitatively what happens to coral reefs at the moment as the oceans are warming.
I think this prize is such an amazing opportunity to kind of get to know a bit more about science from different perspectives.
Reaching different audiences over the last week in Stockholm, I've been rubbing shoulders with all sorts of biochemists.
My thesis advisor, he mentioned that this is a great prize to win because it really amplifies your scientific story and provides a number of opportunities down the road for your career advancement.
My research was about bacteria and how they protect themselves in the fight against their viruses, phages. And instead of just deciphering one defense mechanism, I was able to look through the lens of nucleotide metabolism, and we realized that bacteria actually utilize nucleotides in many different ways to protect themselves. So for example, they can generate unique signaling molecules that would activate the defense response when they identify that they've been infected.
My work has been looking at reef building corals and trying to understand a little bit about the scope of whether they can adapt to climate change. If so, how fast might they be able to adapt, and how does that map onto different possible climate futures? Can corals adapt fast enough? I'm not sure that my research and my PhD has definitively answered that. In fact, I would say it probably hasn't, but it's taken us one step further to answering that question.
My prize-winning research involves the solving of a 50-year mystery in lysosomal lipid breakdown for the treatment of neurodegeneration and other diseases associated with lysosome dysfunction. It involves the identification of an enzyme known as CLN5, which we renamed the BMP synthase because it synthesizes a unique lysosomal lipid known as BMP, which activates the breakdown of lipids within lysosomes. I think the best superpower would be the ability to identify what are the most important questions to address today that'll be relevant a decade from now.
Usually when you go fun diving, you might get 45 minutes to 60 minutes underwater. With the research that we're doing, the corals are pretty shallow, so you don't use air so fast in your scuba tank. Maybe you last 2 hours, but if you could breathe underwater, you could stay down there all day. That would be my superpower.
Being able to tell the future. So one superpower that would actually help in scientific careers would be like knowing what's going to happen next. But as it's not possible, I think what's really helpful is to kind of hang in there, even when times get rough.
Uche, our grand prize winner, actually mentioned a quote to me by Louis Pasteur, which is, "Fortune favors the well-prepared mind." And I just love that, and I think that really describes all of them this year. Just really being able to take advantage of sort of what came up in the research.